Book of Heaven. Volume 10. 5th to the 27th of January 1912. Page 53 to 59. January 5, 1912. Jesus renders himself the debtor of the soul. Effects of continuous prayer. Having read in my writings that when blessed Jesus deprives us of himself, he becomes our debtor, I was thinking to myself, if Jesus counts all the privations, and the huffs and piquets I must take, especially in these times, who knows how many debts he has made with me. But I fear that if my state is not his will, instead of making him the debtor, I may render myself his debtor. And Jesus, moving in my interior, told me, I am really looking at what you do, whether you shift, whether you change your way. As long as you do not shift, be sure that I keep signing new debts. Your waiting, your tolerance and perseverance provide me with the bill on which I put my signatures. But if you did not do so, first, I would not know where to put my signatures. Second, you would have no document in hand to be able to collect these debts. And if you wanted to be paid, I would answer you, frankly, I do not know you. Where are the documents that I am your debtor? You would remain confused. It is true that I make myself the debtor when I deprive one of my presence, of sensible grace, but this, when my wisdom disposes so and they do not give me the occasion to deprive them of me. But when they do give me the occasion, or when they are not faithful or do not wait for me after I deprive them of myself, then, instead of I becoming their debtor, they are the ones who make themselves the debtors. If I make a debt, I have something from which to pay and I remain always what I am, but if you do it, how will you pay me? Therefore, be attentive, at your place, in your state of victim, in whatever way I keep you, if you want to make me your debtor. I said to him, who knows, O Jesus, how Father is doing, since he was not feeling well. Today I have not remembered him continuously before you, as I did the day before yesterday. And Jesus, he keeps feeling more relieved, because when you pray me continuously, I feel the strength of the prayer and it almost prevents me from making him feel more suffering. With time, as this continuous prayer ceases, this strength keeps dissolving, and I am left free to make him suffer more. January 11, 1912. Love wants to be matched by love. After I received communion, my always lovable Jesus made himself seen all around me, and I was in the middle, as if within a flow. Jesus was the flow and I the nothing which was in the middle of this flow. Now, who can say what I experienced in this flow? I felt I was immense, yet nothing existed of me but nothingness. I felt breathed upon by Jesus, I felt his breath around me and everywhere. But I don't have the words to express myself, I am too ignorant. I wrote this to obey. Then, afterwards, Jesus told me, my daughter, see how much I love you and how I keep you safe within my flow. That is, within me. This is how you should keep me safe and sheltered within you. Love wants to be matched by love, so as to have the contentment of making a greater surprise of love. Therefore, never go out from within my love, from within my desires, from within my works, from within my all. January 19, 1912. Jesus binds the hearts in order to unite them with himself and make them lose all that is human. The human ingratitude. As I was in my usual state, my always lovable Jesus made himself seen with a little rope in his hand, and with it he kept binding hearts, clasping them very tightly to himself, in such a way as to make them lose their own feeling and make them feel the whole of Jesus. In feeling themselves so clasped, the hearts wriggled about, and as they wriggled about the knot which Jesus had made over them loosened, as they feared that it was a detriment to them no longer to feel themselves. All afflicted because of this behavior of souls, Jesus told me, my daughter, have you seen how souls render my tendernesses of love vain? I keep binding hearts to unite them closely with me, to make them lose all that is human. But instead of letting me do it, on seeing their human being broken, they lose air, they struggle, they wriggle about, and they also want to look a little bit themselves at how cold, dry or warm they are. By this looking at themselves, struggling, wriggling about, the knot I had made becomes loose, and they want to be with me at a distance, but not clasped in such a way as no longer to feel themselves. This afflicts me very much, and they prevent my games of love. And do not think that these are only souls who are far away from you. Rather, these are also those who are around you. You will make them comprehend well the sorrow that they give me, and that if they do not let themselves be clasped by me to the point of losing the feeling of themselves, I will never be able to expand my graces and my charisms with them. Have you understood? And I, yes, O Jesus, I understood. Poor ones, if they understood the secret contained in your clasping, they would not do this. They would let you do it. Even more, they themselves would make themselves smaller so as to let you tighten the knot more. At that moment, I made myself very small. Jesus clasped me, and instead of wriggling about, I let him squeeze me more tightly, and as he squeezed me, I felt the life of Jesus, losing my own. Oh! How happy I felt with the life of Jesus! I was able to love more, and I could reach everything that Jesus wanted. January 20, 1912. When love does not obtain the intent with good manners, it tries to obtain it with huffs, with fusses, and even with holy naughtiness. As my always lovable Jesus returned, he continued to make himself seen while clasping hearts, and as souls resisted those squeezes, grace would remain inoperative, and Jesus would take this grace in his hand and bring it to those few who were letting themselves be squeezed. He brought a good part of it also to me. On seeing this, I said to him, "My sweet life, you have been so good with me in letting me share in the grace which others refuse. Yet, I feel no squeezes. On the contrary, I feel so very wide, so much so, that I am unable to see either the width or the height or the depth of the boundaries in which I find myself. And Jesus, my beloved daughter, my squeezes are felt by one who, not letting herself be squeezed thoroughly by me, cannot enter to live in me, but one who lets herself be squeezed by me as I want, already passes to living in me, and by living in me, everything is wideness, constraints no longer exist. All the constraint lasts for as long as the soul has the patience to let herself be squeezed by me, to the point of undoing the human being in order to live in the divine life. But then, as she passes to living in me, I keep her safe. I let her wander throughout my endless boundaries. I no longer need to use bonds. On the contrary, many times I myself have to force her so as to put her out a little, to let her see the evils of the earth, to make her plead with greater yearning for the salvation of my children, and have them spared the deserved chastisements. And she is on tenterhooks, and pushes me for she wants to enter into me, lamenting, saying that the earth is not for her. How many times have I not done this with you? I had to show myself huffy and fussy to make you stay a little bit at your place, otherwise you would not have lasted 1 minute outside of me. My heart knows what I suffered in seeing you outside of me, wriggling about, struggling, crying. While the others do this so as not to be squeezed, you did it so as to live in me. And how many times have you yourself not become huffy and fussy because of this way of mine of operating? Don't you remember that we have also been in a fight? And yes, I remember. The day before yesterday, precisely, I was about to get upset because you put me outside of yourself, and as I saw you crying over the evils of the earth, I cried together with you and the huffiness went away. You are truly naughty, O Jesus. Don't you know that you are naughty, little naughty one? But of love. In order to give love and to receive love, you arrive at naughtiness. Isn't it true, Jesus? After a huff or a fuss that we take with each other, don't we love each other more? And he, certainly, it is necessary to love to be able to comprehend love. And when love does not obtain the intent with good manners, it tries to obtain it with huffs, with fusses, and even with holy naughtiness. January 27, 1912. The soul wants hiddenness. This morning, Jesus showed me a soul who was crying, but it seemed, rather, to be a crying of love. Jesus clasped her, and it seemed that inside his heart there was a cross which, pressing against her heart, made her feel abandonments, coldness, agonies, distractions, oppressions, and the soul wriggled about, and a few times she escaped from the arms of Jesus to put herself at his feet. Jesus wanted that, in her state, she would hold on, remaining in his arms, telling her, "If you are able to hold on in this state, remaining in my arms without wavering, this cross will be your sanctification. otherwise you will always stay at the same point." On seeing this, I said, "Jesus, what do these people want from me? It seems to me that they want to take holy freedom away from me, and enter into the secrets that exist between me and you. And Jesus, my daughter, if I allowed them to hear something of what you say to me, it was because of their great faith. And if I did not do it, I would feel as if I were defrauding them. But let others try, and you will see that I would not even let you peep. And I fear, O Jesus, that even at this moment we are not alone. And if you allow things to get out, where will my hiddenness in you be any more? Listen, O Jesus, I'm telling you this, nice and clear. I don't want my nonsense to get out. You alone must know it, because you alone know me, how mad and bad I am, for I even reach the point of doing impertinences with you, and of becoming fussy as if I were a little girl. Who would ever reach this point? No one, only my madness, my pride, my great wickedness. And since I see that you love me more, in order to have more love from you I continue with my nonsense, caring about nothing but to be your amusement. What do others know about this, O dear Jesus? My daughter, do not worry, I told you that I too don't want this habitually, at most, once in 100 times. And almost to distract me he added, "Tell me, what do you want to say to those who are in heaven?" And by myself I can say nothing to no one, only to you can I say everything. Through you, you will tell them that I regard and greet everyone, the sweet Mama, the saints and the angels my brothers, and the virgins, my sisters. And you will tell them to remember the poor exiled one.